Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Let's talk about Tyrus, who's trending on Twitter for all the wrong reasons. Tyrus, of course, is a Fox News contributor who has now been an NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I can't forget that. The worst of all time when it comes to the NWA World Heavyweight Champions. But yet he still holds the belt, and Billy Corgan continues to back him. I gotta say, Billy Corgan's ability to brave the storm of everybody being very upset at Tyrus being the world champion, and yet Billy Corgan refused to take the belt off of him, that takes a tremendous amount of chin. That man has a chin on him. He's a crimson chin. He's like the Tick. He's got that much chin. But this time, it's not about Tyrus being the world heavyweight champion and being a really garbage wrestler. It's the usual that Tyrus's politics, well, they are not so good. This time, Media Matters, one of the biggest agitators in progressive media, has taken a clip of Tyrus from the Greg Gutfeld show and decided that they were going to throw this out there as if he was going to abuse his children over transgenderism, when it's really about pronouns. But I'll give you the headline after we allow him to say his piece.
Look for people who actually are going through this. When you find them, you understand why. They're always the same. They have the same look. It's either a faux hawk with some really bad hair coloring, a horrible nose piercing, really inappropriate bad tattoos that they're going to regret whenever they decide to grow up. And
that's crazy because you see these tattoos all over his arms. I am not pro tattoo, by the way. I don't like tattoos personally. That's just me personally. I think people get tattoos today and then they regret them 10 years later. They start to fade. They start to look ugly. But I'm not anti-tattoo to the point where I hate people with tattoos. I just will never get any myself. But he's laying down the typical snowflake progressive, colored hair, playing with they live life like it's D&D, where they're choosing to be an elf or a werewolf or whatever. He's about to go into that right now.
And it's a cry for help. And your monologue was spot on. Like, they don't participate. They can't succeed. They're not trying to succeed. So I will make myself something different so I can win in my event. Yeah. Because I'm the unicorn leaf itself. And there's only one of me. I did some research too, Kat. Yeah. And everyone I found, it was like one guy's like, I'm half vampire and half lycanthrope because my parents were werewolf. My parents was a vampire, so I have both their powers. And when I find someone attractive, my eyes itch.
Insanity.
Somebody been watching Underworld. That's what's going on here. Clearly, this must have been something off TikTok. I think sometimes, and I don't mean to belittle like the libs of TikTok kind of content creator, that you scour TikTok for the most ludicrous people possible, and then you find folks who are saying, dear self, this, that. You have to realize we live in a world of attention now, where that's the coin of the realm. The money ain't worth anything. The attention is worth a lot. So you see a lot of people now, they're willing to do whatever it takes or say whatever it takes to get attention. The second thing is fetishes have also become very, very normalized in our society. So a lot of people who are on TikTok or on Twitter or whatever, who are engaging in this kind of stuff, they're playing a role, they're fantasizing, they're being in a fantasy. And so it's not real to them. They're trolling, they're just trying to get attention. It's a fetish that they're being involved with. That's how I view everything. I don't look at it like the world is collapsing because a couple of dumb kids want to walk around with unicorn horns on, call themselves unicorn selves. I don't really think about it that way. I look at that as something they will grow out of eventually. The issue that I have is with the things that stick, But Tyrus wasn't done, so he says this.
You stay away from those people.
Exactly. Keep your pronouns on Twitter so we can avoid you.
Yeah, and if my kids came home and said, Daddy, my pronouns is this, this, and this, yeah, my pronoun would be ass whooping.
Yeah.
I will sit in detention with you. I'll bring cake and pie. Okay?
All right, we got to move on. Up next.
All right, so let's talk about this. Corporal punishment, as they call it, whooping your kids. There's a lot of libertarians that are against spankings for, libertarian reasons. It's violence against another person. At the same time, though, it's the swiftest and usually the most efficient way to teach kids discipline. Pain teaches discipline, and you learn from there. That said, I am not entirely in support of spanking your children for having ridiculous ideas. Like if your kids are they're being taught preferred pronouns and all this kind of stuff. This is where you step in as the adult and you educate them about why that's inappropriate. By people don't get to make up their own pronouns. It's just, sorry, you don't. We have a shared language. It's called English. Everybody needs to understand what the other person is saying. You want to run around calling yourself bat self, vampire self. No, that's nonsense. Those people are playing pretend. They can play pretend all they want because in their circle, they know what they're talking about. Average people have no idea what you're talking about. That's that wizardry, where people use words in ways that they are not meant to be used. You educate your child about why this preferred pronoun stuff is stupid. Girls are referred to as she, her. Boys, he, him. A pair of people, they, them. Or if you have an individual to whom you don't know, let's say you get a piece of paper and somebody says name's Ashley. Well, Ashley can be a unisex name. All right. I know that's kind of silly, but it can be, So you may say they in referring to Ashley without knowing whether Ashley is a boy or a girl. But you typically don't call one person they. That's dumb. And I understand the frustration. But I think sometimes people are way too quick to attack or spank their children for things that the child doesn't understand. And I don't like that. The child needs to be able to understand what the punishment is for. And the punishment should obviously fit the crime, So I don't support that idea. But the wrestling fans have gotten a hold of that clip. And because they don't like Tyrus anyway, and heavens to Betsy, I don't like Tyrus either. All right. So I have no horse in the race. I'm not supporting beating your kids because of preferred pronouns, but I do support beating your kids, especially when your kids are absolute jerks who throwing tantrums and slamming stuff on the floor and slamming doors and kicking over stuff. Whoop they ass. I'm also not a supporter of quote unquote preferred pronouns because we have to share a language. Everybody needs to understand what the other person is saying. Trying to rewrite language to benefit small groups of people so they can play D&D in real life is stupid. I don't like Tyrus as being the NWA world champion. I think it disrespects the world title. He sucks. He blows. He's a human whale. And I don't really even support his politics, really. I don't know that much about his politics other than him being on Fox. But I really don't like the people that he's upset. The people that are pissed off about this, oh brother. Some of the worst kinds of people. But doesn't matter, really. I win either way. So, Billy Corgan has not responded to this, of course, because it's really just happened not too long ago. But Billy Corgan has made comments about Tyrus being on Fox before. And so for the sake of clarity, I believe that he will be consistent with his belief. And this is what he's been saying about Tyrus being world champion and being on Fox. So in the New York Post, this was in May, I believe, Billy Corgan said the following. He says, the kind of people who would not watch Tyrus because he's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion and because he's on Fox News are not the kind of fans that he wants. He says, quote, I think if people bring those things into the realm of wrestling and it changes their willingness to watch, that's not a customer that I am catering to. I grew up in a time of old school heat. Old school heat was the Polish guy told the German guy using World War II references that he was going to beat him up. Very politically incorrect. When Tyrus walks through the door, he brings the heat. And if you're not going to watch them, then you're not a wrestling fan. I'm not booking a charity. I'm booking a professional wrestling company. There are people that have a problem with the New York Post. If that was going to deny you opportunities in the world to appear on a show or write for another magazine, that's not a world I want to live in. I believe that dissenting voices should have a seat at the table and let the American public decide which is more important on any particular argument. I don't believe in canceling out a voice because you're not comfortable with their perspective. And that's how it's supposed to translate to professional wrestling. So that's what he said before. Now that's before, of course, this whole brouhaha started all over again. Most recently, he made comments about Tyrus being the world champion. And he said this. He said, "It was not the core of my decision to put the title on him strictly because of the marketing of that title on television," meaning on Fox News. He did that on his own. Then he says, "We're going to do it our way. It's not for everybody, but you're talking to a guy who runs his band the same way. It has worked out on that end just fine." So now you see a lot of people who are, some of these folks, here's the thing. NWA does have a huge 2-night show this weekend, NWA 75. And that's bumping up against All In. One of these, oh, is it? No, it's not this weekend. It's next weekend. All In is next weekend, okay? But it's bumping up against other shows. And you're competing with dollars at that point. So the NWA is not going to lose one fan who is going to order the show anyway. That's the thing that a lot of these people who are about to absolute act a fool, that's what they don't understand. You've already canceled the NWA. You've already stopped watching Power. You already don't buy a ticket to go to the show. You already don't buy the pay-per-views. You're not hurting the NWA because your progressivism kicked in the moment Tyrus won the title. So that means as soon as a Fox News contributor became the world champion, you, if you were honest, you stopped watching. So they're not losing money by you not buying this. This is not something that's going to irrevocably harm NWA. It's not. A lot of people have already stopped watching it. Now they're down to whatever their core audience is. And they're trying to reach and create new audiences. You also have to take into account that a lot of these people are on Twitter. And they say Twitter is not real life, but Twitter is realer than you think. At the same time, though, there are more people who will see him on Gutfeld and will probably know him from there. They will probably watch an NWA show or try to cancel him on Twitter. So there's a lot of different layers here to discuss, to think about. So let's get into some of the responses around this thing. First one, Billy's NWA champion Tyrus, because of course he is. And Billy wonders why nobody watches NWA. This person has a trans flag and a pride flag. So that's one. Pride. We counting flags this time. I'm only looking in the exact username. So that's one with the flag. This is something people don't talk about. Fox and right-wing media demonizes LGBTQ so much that they are certainly convincing many parents to be harsh and even abusive if their child comes out to them. We're going backwards where more kids will be afraid to come out of the closet. Now, this is a legitimate concern. It's and that everybody is overcorrecting. You do have, because this whole pride thing has become political, you do have people who are now who may not have been so angry and, I don't want to say abusive, but angry and stubborn. Let's use that. They might not have been so stubborn if this was not now a political party. It's almost like losing your child to Nazism or fascism or something like that nowadays. And that's how some people view it as a sin, especially if you're a religious type. But now it's almost like losing your child to the other team, when it doesn't have to be that way. And so now there's overcorrections on both sides. You have teachers trying to create some kind of underground railroad of secretly gay children that, you know, keep this stuff from their parents. And now you've got these parents who are now trying to cocoon their child from the world and beat the tar out of them if they cross any line that, you know, your kid wants to play with a Barbie doll. All of a sudden you want to beat them to death. It's like, I played with Barbies, you know, He-Man had to beat up on somebody. He had to kiss somebody too, for Christ's sake. I was, you know, I knew what to do with a Barbie. It wasn't like I enjoyed brushing her hair. I used Barbies just like I used G.I. Joes and Hulk Hogan action figures. It didn't mean anything. So people who get super intense about that whole thing is overthinking it. You're overcorrecting. You can pull back. You know, you could be an adult here. Nobody watches NWA anymore because this is your champion. Do better, NWA. So the right-wing cinematic universe is really scraping the bottom of the barrel these days. I mean, who the fuck is Tyrus? You know, who is Tyrus? Oh my goodness. Why are you're commenting about a guy you don't know anything about? Here's one. Bro looks like his parents are first cousins, which is actually kind of funny. But this person that is talking about Tyrus is exactly the kind of person Tyrus is talking about. This guy has red tips of his hair. His entire head is red. It is very, very bizarre. It's gross looking, actually. You know, these people look like poisonous. They look like poisonous plants. Just run around him twice. He'll be blown up and just flop around. Why does he look like like a guy who should be kept 500 feet away from schools and playgrounds? Tyrus looks like a guy you would see in the bar, sitting in the corner, you know, drunk and sad. You know, guys like fucking Fred Flintstone, you know? Tyrus is why I won't watch NWA. There are plenty of wrestlers out there whose values I don't agree with, and that's fine. We don't have to agree. When you're carrying the belt of your promotion spreading hate, your workplace now officially endorses that. No thanks, mate. Well, okay, that's at least a fair, you know, enunciation. I'd sue for emancipation if that thing were my father. Okay. I see why they never let him talk in WWE. As if he could catch a child without losing his breath. You know what? That's a pretty good point. I think that if Tyrus had to actually try to chase some kind of kid, that kid would definitely get away from him. That kid would be the fastest kid alive. He'd be the speediest kid of all time. He'd get away from Tyrus, absolutely. Child Protective Services should be on speed dial. How is it this man is NWA World's Champion? Fuck you, Tyrus. There's going to be a lot of that fuck you, Tyrus. I really should just start counting fuck you, Tyruses. So, as a matter of fact, yeah, let's do that. One. This is the new family value. Pronouns. God has been waiting to finally be called they, them. And this is what I mean by, you know, this kind of ridiculousness. My preferred pronoun for him is fat. Fatty. Fat/fatty. Absolutely nobody is surprised by this. Well, that's pretty true. And conservatives wonder why children may want to talk to a teacher instead of their parents. Well, it's not a parent's job to create a safe space for your child. That's what teachers do. That's what people who are trying to love bomb your child do. As an adult, as the authority figure, as a parent, it is not your job to just accept whatever nonsense your child comes up with. That's not the world that you live in. Your job is to prepare your child for the world, not to coddle them. Coddling them, having fun with them, cuddling them, all this kind of stuff, all that's fine and good. But when other people are planting ideas into your child's mind, no. It is not for you to just water whatever somebody plants inside of your child. Somebody planted some nonsense in your kid's head and you have to be, oh, I'm going to be a safe space and I'm just going to, yes, Timmy, you're absolutely a vampire. You can bite whoever you want because I know you need to drink blood. Yes, absolutely. No, That's not your job as a parent. As a parent, your job is to correct negative behaviors. You know, this weird stuff that the people have got going on is a negative behavior. It's not as negative as, robbing a bank or anything like that. So that's why it needs to be in proportion. But it's a negative behavior that needs to be corrected. Somebody says, please refer to him as George or Mr. Murdoch. That's his name. That's what's on his birth certificate. Showing respect by calling him by some other name he asked to be called is out of line, according to him. I got you. That's a good point. What's the difference between him wanting to be called Tyrus, which he doesn't? Tyrus is just a name he uses in his profession. It's not like he's going to ball into a corner and get you fired from your job because you won't call him Tyrus. So I saw what you were trying to do there, but it's not nearly the same way. That's apples and oranges. Quit being dumb. He is a groomer. Just look at him. Massive chud vibe. He's a groomer. He's a parent. Parents are supposed to groom their children. Who else is supposed to raise your children? That's literally a parent's job, is to groom their child, to prepare their child for the world. Teach them the things that they need to know to be successful and healthy in the world. Sorry that you didn't understand that. He goes on TV holding a fake championship saying all this bullshit. Billy, come get your guy, bro. Oh my goodness. Promises to assault. That's a bit of a dramatic headline. Media Matters is known for such clickbait, or whatever you call it. Look, he said what he said and it's cringe, but he's on his high horse. But opening up a can of whoop ass does not necessarily involve physical abuse. No, but you know that there's going to be some there in order to correct the behavior. But who knows what that physical abuse could be, Like, my uncles never whooped me. Never got a belt and whooped me. But thumps across the head, which I still do to children. I do that all the time. Whenever a child is miscorrect, just thump them across the forehead. I'm telling you, just the act of doing that, it doesn't hurt them too bad, but the shock and the surprise usually gets the reaction that you want. Funny from a fat sexual harasser pig. Ooh. Somebody fucked this ogre willingly? He is a fucking ogre, bro. He is an ogre, bro. He is a gross looking man. Absolutely. It was in my lifetime when people on Fox said the same fucking thing about people who look like him with tattoos, etc. Literally, fuck off, dude. Well, that's a good point because I just made that point. Fucking loser. There's a reason nobody wants him except NWA. Well, that's true. What a psychopath. What a piece of shit. Is this fat idiot still a thing? I don't know. Man. Tyrus has really got people upset. I'm not surprised. We got 2 for the flags, by the way. I'm keeping track of them in my head. I need to say it out loud. I hope he goes out like Rodney the Ram and soon. Is he talking about the wrestler? What is it? Wasn't it Rodney the Ram? And didn't he have like a heart attack or something in that movie? Oh, goodness. You want him to die. Wow, that's kind of dramatic. I hope someone calls CPS on this piece of shit. What a great representative of the NWA. Yeah. This guy has pronouns in his bio, though, so there we go. Zero surprise Billy Corgan had him as NWA champ for so long. Then there's a screenshot. Smashing Pumpkins Billy Corgan calls trans woman a he, she, and an ugly pig from September the 1st, 2011. So from 12 years ago. I remember Billy Corgan said something 12 years ago that we should be upset about. Bro, who cares? Who out there is an actual fan of this guy? That's a good question. Who is out there a fan of Tyrus? If you are, you need to almost immediately go jump into the lake of fire. Billy Corgan must take the NWA title off him immediately and crown EC3. You do realize everybody hates EC3 too, for pretty much the same reason. Wasn't they didn't they call that show, what was it, Control Your Narrative? They were saying it was like Fight Club, and it was a bunch of Trump supporters. It's like, you want to take the belt off Tyrus because he's on Fox News. So you want the guy who is a supposed QAnon conspiracy theorist Trump supporter to be the champion instead? Because I'm pretty sure they probably agree on more things than you and everybody else agree on. Oh my goodness. There's no way to win if you're an NWA fan who is politically motivated. There's just no way to win. Tyrus and EC3 are pretty much the same as far as I know. I don't know that much about EC3. I think a lot of that stuff was thrust upon him that it doesn't really accurately portray what he believes. Here's the thing. Also, really smart to try and dunk on their tattoos, Funkasaurus, when you've got some of the shittiest tattoos in the biz. Yeah, well, he does have some pretty crappy tattoos. Let's be honest, though. A lot of people have shitty tattoos, if we're being honest. This is your world champion, Billy, NWA, the motherfucker who represents you. This was in all caps, by the way. All caps. I am proposing a ceasefire between the rabid AEW and WWE diehards for this weekend. We need to channel our energy into collapsing Billiam H. Corgan's garbage indie fed permanently. From somebody who calls themselves a queer werewolf. The exact kind of person Tyrus is talking about. I'm a queer werewolf. You are not. I guarantee you are not. You are on Twitter. It's a Twitter personality. Relax. Unfortunately, this is the second most fucked up thing I've seen today on Twitter. Wow. Kevin Koo, who is a wrestler, says, what a dumb piece of shit. Oh, okay. Interesting. Child abuse over pronouns is crazy. That's 3 for the flags, by the way. NWA asked if Glory Pro would help promote their upcoming dates at the Chase. This right here is why you won't see our name anywhere near that company. Some guy named Dan the Dad, who apparently is a pro wrestler. I don't know who the fuck Glory Pro is, but I'm glad that you will not be helping NWA, I guess. Well, NWA isn't worth much of anything right now, we're being honest. And this is why nobody watches NWA. Fuck Tyrus. Yeah, fuck this fucking sloppy piece of shit. Bro is on a speed run and trying to be the most unlikable guy in the wrestling industry. Well, he is absolutely, he's moving pretty fast on this. This is nasty. Try and, quote, slap me, Tyrus. Please, I dare you. That's 4 when it comes to flags, by the way. This is Danny Cage from the Monster Factory. Trash human saying trash shit. Oh, I can't believe this guy is out here being virtue signaling. 5, by the way, for the flags. Not Danny Cage though. He did not have flags. Once a trash bag, always a trash bag. Come on, man. There's far better reasons to beat kids. I agree with that. You know, there are much better reasons to hit kids, man. If you're going to hit a kid, there's 100 different reasons more than preferred pronouns, bro. That's a dumb reason to hit a kid. You know, I'm one of the last people to wish any wrestling company to fail. But if this is the kind of behavior that the NWA is perfectly fine with from their world champion, then it might be time for them to pack it in. I think people have been saying this for a while now. That's 6 for the flags, by the way. It always has been, always will be, fuck Tyrus. Wow, gross. Call CPS now. This is your NWA World Champion Billy Corgan decides to do. That's how it was written. This is your NWA World Champion Billy Corgans, Corgins, decides to do. I have friends who work for NWA and bless them, I support them getting their bag, but I'll never watch their programming. And this is why. Because it's capital B boring? Because it's been boring for a long fucking time. I checked out on the NWA when it became clear that Tyrus is never going to fucking lose. And it's been over a year since I probably watched an entire episode of NWA Power. Bro, do you know how hard it is to get through that show when there's nobody on that motherfucker to watch? Your NWA World Champion, ladies and gentlemen. All the wrestlers at NWA wondering why I don't answer your booking requests. It's because fuck NWA and Tyrus and Billy. This is a wrestler by the name of Dark Sheik who works in GCW. And this is a man who claims to be a woman. ECW better win this weekend. Even by Tyrus' standards, what the actual fuck? By Tyrus' standards. What a fucking piece of shit. Fuck the NWA. Never wanted EC3 to win a match so badly until now. It's crazy that when EC3 wins, they're going to remember that they called him a Trump supporter and that, control your narrative was a bunch of Trump supporters in a QAnon conspiracy camp and all that kind of stuff that they were saying not too long ago. Now all of a sudden it's like, we want EC3 to win because he hasn't come out and said anything yet. Fuck Tyrus, fuck Billy, fuck the NWA. Tyrus is 50 and barely mobile. He will get a they them thumping expeditiously. What? Tyrus is 50. Now, he moves like he's 50. He moves like he's 85. I know them knees got to be screaming in pain. Could you imagine how bad those knees must feel every day? He walks like somebody's grandma. Jesus Christ. Fuck Tyrus, and fuck any promotion that would book him, let alone make him their standard bearer. Looking at you, NWA Billy. Tyrus would be blown up just from taking his belt off. That's a fact, Jack. I think going up the stairs is too much for Tyrus. I think by the time he gets up the stairs and between the ropes, he feels like he's been in a marathon, for Christ's sake. Looks like a slab of beef hanging in the butcher's. A slab of beef. And this is the guy they have representing the NWA. No wonder no one gives a fuck about that promotion anymore. What a joke. It's amazing that the progressives killed in the NWA in the first place when they canceled Jim Cornette. And now they're mad that nobody placates to them anymore. Like when Billy Corgan knee-jerked and fired Jim Cornette because the progressives complained about Jim Cornette, now he's not doing it again. He learned from the first time. He buckled under the pressure and fired Jim Cornette over a joke to make the progressives happy. And that just pissed off all the regular people, especially the people who were watching the show because Jim Cornette had directed them to watch the show. That did irreparable amounts of damage to NWA Power, by the way. People were just kind of like, I'm done with it after that. Because if you're willing to buckle under pressure, I don't want anything to do with you, which is typical of especially conservative and libertarian types. Once they see that the left starts to win on something, they basically just turn around and walk away from it. And now he's not. He's saying, look, we're sticking with Tyrus. And he's stuck through Tyrus. And Tyrus, as far as I know, is still on TV. Obviously he's still on TV. But he was even accused of sexual harassment or something like that. And that case got dismissed or it was settled or something. He maintains that he was not guilty and he did not pay any money. So Billy Corgan's riding with his guy. The NWA is for conservatives, huh? I don't know. I don't know what that is, I don't know if that's true. No, I need EC3 to knock this motherfucker out in that match because what? I don't know. You ain't hurting anyone when you move slower than a fucking slug, you pathetic bigot. This guy made the same joke twice, bro. Looks like his parents are first cousins. He was so proud of that, he said it twice. Oh, I really got him that time. Yeah, I bet. From the Harley Races, to the Barry Windhams, to the Ric Flairs, to this fucking goddamn idiot. Weren't you guys canceling Ric Flair just earlier, was it last year, for the plane ride from hell? Didn't you guys cancel Ric Flair for that? I guarantee you, I can pretty much guarantee you, if you would have asked any NWA World Heavyweight Champion from any point in time if they believed in preferred pronouns, the answer to that question would be what? If you'd have stopped Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who's probably the nicest, most baby-faced guy of all time, and said, Ricky, what's the difference between men and women? He would not have told you, well, there's just bodies, and you can be whatever you want to be, and whenever you feel like being it. He would not have said that. So, Tyrus is not saying anything that Barry Windham wouldn't have probably said, that Ric Flair probably wouldn't have said, that Dusty Rhodes probably wouldn't have said. All of these guys are not like you. You know, your luxury beliefs are fairly new to the world. This stuff is new to the world. This is not like something that, you know, everybody has to accept this crap. All right. This is crazy. Billy Corgan. I need Tyrus as the NWA World Champion because he generates press, especially for the 75th anniversary show. Tyrus, I will beat my kids for being who they want to be. If your kid will not stop pretending he's Superman, yeah, you probably should put hands on him a little bit. Just a little bit, just to correct him. Correct his behavior. He's welcome to stay. Wait a minute. He's welcome to come to the Diamond State and say that shit to my face. Who are you? What the fuck is the Diamond State? I don't know what that is. I mean, this company has several woman beaters on its payroll. Are you surprised they have a potential kid beater as champion? Woman beater. Potential woman beater. I mean, nobody is ever pure enough, if we being honest, correct? Nobody is ever pure enough. Billy Corgan has given this dude a near year-long reign with just 4 defenses since last November. Not a single one hits the 15-minute mark. But hey, at least NWA is bringing in the Fox News audience, right? Well, you seem very knowledgeable on the NWA products. Because I don't know nothing about this. Like I say, man, after he didn't lose the title to Chris Masters, I bowed the fuck out. I was like, no thank you, brother. I don't even know what's going on in NWA now. You know, I see clips here and there. I see title cards and things like that. You know, but I don't know what's going on in the NWA. I have no idea. This piece of absolute garbage is coming to town and continues to disgrace the legacy of the NWA and St. Louis wrestling. Fuck you, Billy Corgan. Fuck the NWA. And fuck anyone going to or watch or work that show. So not only fuck you fuck Billy for picking him as champion. Okay. Fuck him. Okay, he's the one who said the comment. Fuck the NWA. All right, that's Billy's company. Fuck you for watching. And fuck everybody who works there. Wow. So the people who are just picking up a check, you know, a lot of these young wrestlers, and quite a few of them they're fairly new in the business. This is their first real job. Are they supposed to quit their jobs to make you happy? Like, does that make sense to anybody? I mean, sure, there's other promotions, but a bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush, right? I'm going to quit the NWA because AEW will have me, and then AEW won't have you, and you quit NWA. Now what? You go and start working the onion ring circuit. You know, you get your old sleeping in your car story. I don't know. It is what it is. He sounds like a real family man. What a loser. His kids deserve better. Oh, all right. The me liking Tyrus meme ends here. Fuck Tyrus. Never liked them. One of the shittiest workers of all time, and even shittier human being. Fuck Tyrus. Wow. Everybody's out here trying to virtue signal. You know, just the virtue signaling. I see how virtuous you are, sir. He was super early on the right-wing grift move. This is Peter Rosenberg, who does stuff for WWE. Amazing that it's got to be a grift when they don't believe what you believe. It's a grift, you know. But whatever. Chris Van Vliet, my man. You know I'm a big fan of yours, but I would appreciate if you would stop platforming people like this. Now we got to tell people who they can do interviews with. You're not allowed to platform, quote unquote, these people. You're not allowed to hear opinions that you don't like. All right. This is the NWA's heavyweight champion threatening to beat up his kids. Which is not exactly what he said, but okay. And Billy wonders why people don't watch NWA. There's so many people saying that. There's a lot of fuck Tyrus. I've skipped over quite a few just regular fuck Tyruses. It's just a regular fuck Tyrus, for Christ's sake. Whoa, I went as far as to watch the entire interview before stating my opinion here, which I know is the more than most will ever do. This motherfucker is a piece of shit. I'm generally not an advocate for violence, but I am all about vigilante. Someone kill this motherfucker and save his kids. Did you hear this? This dude said, this motherfucker is, I'm generally not an advocate for violence. Then literally the next sentence, someone kill this motherfucker and save his kids. We had 8 for the flags, by the way, if you're trying to figure it out. If you lost count, we're at like 8 with the flags. But to want Tyrus to be killed, that's a bit extreme. I gotta say, pretty extreme. Probably not necessary. Probably not necessary for you to want Tyrus to die. You know, fuck him. Okay, sure, but you want him to die? Okay, sure. Fuck him. I will say this point blank. I don't watch NWA because of him. It sucks for all the other talent there that I would like to support, but I can't support a company who proudly touts this as the face of their company. You should try to say what talent, specifically would you like to support. You know, you'd be like, trying to Google the roster, like, Matty Ranowski. I don't know. Here comes Ryan Satin. This is the face of the NWA? Woof. Yes. Yes. A lot of people saying call CPS on this guy. The sad thing is the NWA was once promotion I considered watching. You could say what you want about WWE, but Roman Reigns isn't this level of a real life douchebag. I'm pretty sure if you ask Roman Reigns, especially as a man of faith, he ain't going to start. Well, he probably not beat his kids for it, but he ain't down with the pronoun. I can pretty much guess that from looking at him. I can pretty much guess 99% of all human beings are not down for the whole preferred pronouns garbage. It comes from a very small sect of society and has absolutely infiltrated everything to the point where you think it's normal, but it's not, because the average person is still confused about how the hell that shit works. So you know it ain't normal. So when people start seeing sex assigned at birth, which makes no fucking sense, as if we picking them out of a jar or something like that. You're picking it out of a hat, whether somebody's male or female or something like that. This stuff doesn't make no. You ask 99% of all people, they will actually agree with Tyrus. They may not go as far as say they want to beat their kids over it, but most people will agree with Tyrus. You know, and that's why, you know, this stuff is not in any way within the realm of reality. I can't even process this headline. This is a good thing he honestly thought was good to say. Well, he's sitting there talking shit. He's just shooting the shit, and it is what it is. About to change Funkasaurus's pronouns to was, were. Are we talking about killing them again? That sounds like a threat, brother. Here's another one. I've just seen this, and even knowing how much of a piece of shit Tyrus is, I thought it would be a misquote or clickbait or something. No, it's legit. And this is the heavyweight champion of the world. of what is supposed to be a respected historical wrestling promotion. What a joke. Again, if you're cornered, if you sat down and you looked at him and you said to Luthez that you were a girl and you got a face full of hair, he is not going to call you a girl. I'm sorry to break it to you. He would have been like, son, you are not a girl. All right. He might not choke you out or kill you or anything like that, but I doubt he plays the game that you're playing. Even for one fan, he probably wouldn't even go that route. Again, you have to think about how recent this crap is. You think that everybody's supposed to believe what you believe. He believes, at least with this, is in line with pretty much every NWA World Heavyweight Champion outside of the ones who are trying to virtue signal today. So maybe somebody like Colt Cabana would disagree, you know, but Colt Cabana is not worth calling Colt Cabana a world champion is a joke anyway. And this, you know, this title, the NWA belt, it ain't meant nothing since 1993, maybe even before that. So it really doesn't cost that. It doesn't mean that much. Billy, you dug yourself a hole this time. These people are very upset. I can't figure out why anyone would want this fool's opinion on anything, let alone child raising or trans issues. Yeah, that's a good question. Why would we care about the opinions of Tyrus? You know, he's one guy. Just because he's stupid enough to get on TV and say these stupid things with his stupid tattoos, I don't understand why he's still wearing a hat and it's backwards in like 2023. God, he's just such a fucking futuristic Fred Flintstone. I can't stand this fucking guy. It's really, 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 really weird. Oh, this person has a continued comment. It says, hypothetically, if you are transphobic, when you want a scientist or a psychologist on your side of that argument, I can't imagine being like, well, this barely relevant pro wrestler thinks trans people are invalid. Well, there's plenty of psychologists and biologists who have said that stuff is not real, and you guys just rail against them the exact same way. You want them to die too. You know, you want everybody who disagrees with you to die, or to be deplatformed, or fired from their job, or running from their home, screaming it on fire, or whatever the case may be. So it's not like you can accept criticism only from the credentialed class, because you don't accept, you know, the criticism there. Because if you did, this stuff would have been nipped in the bud almost 10 years ago when it first started coming out amongst people who are basically philosophers. I almost said something stupid. Everyone has their own personal feelings, but openly saying on live television that you would beat your children for sharing their pronouns is absolutely insane. Tyrus is a knob. We're up to like 10 or 12 on the flag route, by the way. I've been counting them in my head. I haven't been saying them out loud. Fuck Tyrus and fuck his boss, transphobic powder. HT, too dark chic for that one. Fuck the NWA, coasting on history when they're basically like the worst of the shindies. Now, I guess it means shit indies. This is one of those times I love to see NWA mentioned because fuck them. It's unfortunate that they have genuine, non-bigoted talent working for them because I look forward to the karma that brings those bigoted fucks crumbling down. You want to see the bigoted fucks crumbling? Why don't you just watch AEW and not worry about the NWA? Why do you care? You know? You've got CM Punk wearing trans youth shirts and Kenny Omega out here kissing men in the mouth, poking men in the butt with his fingers, you know, talking about trans. Just watch that stuff. Why do you care about what's going on in the NWA? I wouldn't. You know, if I was that politically against what the wrestlers were doing, I wouldn't even watch it. I certainly wouldn't be tweeting about it. I only make videos about it because it's good content. And that's the name of the game here. SoCal Val from TNA. She says, quote, cancel, abort, and happily loathe this hateful man. This is appalling. Also, maybe don't make fun of any tattoos when you, sir, Tyrus, are literally covered in ink similar to a damn doodle bear. Mind your own problematic business and let people be who they want to be. And she posted flags. So we're at 13 now when it comes to flags. Billy Costigan, that's not Billy Corgan. Now, I can tell you that. Is this who you really want on your brand? Well, Billy Costigan is not Billy Corgan. So I don't know who Billy Costigan wants as NWA World Champion. Maybe we should ask him. Because that's not the right person you're tweeting here. I wish I could be shocked just from a guy from Fightful. This is so much young talent in the NWA that deserves a spotlight. And then this piece of garbage and his dumb boss open their mouths and make us all want to forget the NWA like it was 1993 to 2016. Yeah. Lance Storm, because of course he's always on the right. He's Canadian, so he folds under pressure. He folds like a lawn chair. Canadians don't have no backbone, you know. They're like, you know, the British and the French a little bit. Let me put this as politely as I can. Fuck this guy. Well, thank you. Thank you for that very useful information, Lance Storm. Dude's concerned about his kids' pronouns. Meanwhile, he needs to be concerned with working the shaft and tickling the balls of Greg Gutfeld, considering how far he's gagging on that dude's meat. I would not be projecting gay fantasies upon Tyrus. That doesn't seem like that's the right thing to do. I don't know if that man leans that way, but this feels like you're projecting. When somebody gets that specific about some homosexual acts, usually that's the stuff that they're thinking about. I doubt, you know, Tyrus is sitting there thinking about what's the words he used? Gagging on that dude's meat, working the shaft. That's very specific. It's oddly specific. NWA, with all due respect, this is wildly disgusting. As a person who survived suicide, as a person who survived abuse, as a person who lived their life actively working harder than people like Tyrus just to be taken seriously as a person, you can't excuse this. This is a male she-they. So here we go. A person who survived suicide. That's not funny. I don't know why I laughed. I'm sorry. It's very rude. A person who survived suicide. A true coward, a weak man, forever a failure, forever a joke, forever a nothing. This is from the owner of Black Label Pro, which is a very small wrestling promotion. Daddy, my pronouns is this and this and this. Yeah, my pronoun would be ass whooping. Not very progressive from someone hailing from Planet Funk. What's this? I'm pretty sure if you ask George Clinton, who was on stage in a diaper. Well, was he wearing a diaper or was somebody else wearing a diaper? It was somebody from Funkadelic on stage in a diaper, goddammit. And they were all stoned out of their minds anyway. They probably sticking their penises in any kind of hole they could find. They probably weren't even thinking about it. I'm looking for... It's time to start looking for interesting ones because this has been going on for a long time. And it's only so many times you can say, fuck Tyrus, fuck Tyrus, fuck Tyrus. Here's one. Personally, I know there are a ton of excellent people working with the NWA, both inside and outside the ring. I cannot personally support a brand that would choose to have this individual as their champion. And this is a person who owns a wrestling promotion. It says, NWA, I would say this shocks me, but considering your owner, I'm not. Fuck your promotion and fuck anyone that says what this fat fuck has said he would do to kids. Yeah. Whew. These people are very angry. Oh, we up to 17 when it comes to the flags. 17. Know what is a great idea? Having the NWA World Champ say some stupid shit 4 days before their 75th anniversary show. Tyrus just fucked up every worker who ain't him on that show. Shut the fuck up, dickhead. Not one person complaining about this show was going to watch it or attend that show. Fightful was probably going to have like a very short blurb about it. They weren't going to talk about it in any extensive detail. So really, what damage did you do to NWA by yelling "fuck Billy Corgan" on Twitter? It really doesn't mean anything, you know. So it literally just doesn't mean anything. This is who Billy wants as his champion. What a piece of shit, the both of them. Here's one. If he's comfortable saying this on TV, there's probably abuse going on already in that home. Guy is an insult to professional wrestling, the history of the NWA, and humanity in general. I don't believe that we're at 18 with the flags now. I don't believe that he's abusing his children, because people say stuff like that all the time. It doesn't mean anything. Again, this is a completely empty concept here. I whoop my kid ass if he ever jumped and did cartwheels in the middle of the street. Oh no, you abuse your children. It's like, my son will never do cartwheels in the middle of the street. He's not a fucking idiot. All right. So we're not concerned about that. All right. 19 with the flags. Call child services and get those kids out of there. I don't even know if he has kids. Dude's going to become the fat Chris Benoit to own the libs. Holy shit. 19. This guy has, these are the guys that throw me for a loop. This guy has a pride flag. So we're at 20 with the pride flags. But he's also got a Christian cross in his, come on. Oh, brother. Look, what do I know? I'm just going to mind my business on that tip. Just saying. Full stop. Boycott the NWA. You're supposed to have been boycotting the NWA 2 years ago. Or was it 3 years ago when they brought in Jim Cornette? You wanted to boycott then. You know? You boycotted a guy over a joke. And now these guys you've already done damage to the brand. Brand already on, need a defibrillator, already need an inhaler. What more can you do? This D-bag and the company he represents are coming to St. Louis. I urge you to spend your money on one of the many local wrestling companies who don't support shit like this and actually need your support. Okay. 21 when it comes to the flags. And you wonder why NWA is hot street trash right now when this is who you put as your top guy. Yeah, I agree absolutely that Tyrus has no business being a world champion, but we're 22 on the flags. Tyrus, you are a horrible, disgusting human being. You don't love your children, and if you're quick to, quote, assault them because of something you refuse to educate yourself on, there's a special place in hell for you. He didn't say he was going to assault his children. Media Matters said he was going to assault his children. He said he was going to whip their ass, which is, technically assault, but disciplining children is not illegal. Imagine coming on TV and saying this. What a exhausting waste of a human being. 22 when it comes to the flags. Tony Khan, can you buy the NWA and fire his ass and put the belt on someone else? Like Dustin, so the NWA World Champion, isn't the worst wrestler in person. Dustin gets a lot of slack. Dustin have said and done a lot of weird stuff. Remember when we did Dark Side of the Ring and Dustin Rhodes was in the middle of that stuff? And yet they didn't mention him when they was talking about people acting up on that plane. They didn't mention Dustin Rhodes at all. Remember when Lufisto claimed that Dustin Rhodes was being a kind of a bully to her and gave her, quote unquote, hard love, and everybody just kind of rallied around him and everything was A-OK. He gets away with a lot. Maybe because he's a very cool guy, I don't know. But there's been people who've been canceled for less than what Dustin has done that we know of. But I don't know. Let's start to wrap this thing up. Because this thing is pretty long. This is the guy from Inside the Ropes who also has a pride flag. So we're at 23 on the pride flags. Fuck Tyrus. Fuck the NWA for having this guy on top and doing media saying this stuff. Get in the bin. Well, he's technically not promoting NWA. He does have the title. And he does have the title on Fox, which I wish he didn't do. I don't like that. But he's not doing an interview supporting, the 75th anniversary of the NWA and then just blurted out how he's going to beat his kids over trans issues. He's on TV talking about it, and the title is there, which I wish it wouldn't be. I wish he was not carrying the belt on TV. That's just... I just believe in separations of church and state. Like if a wrestler is doing something that is not directly about marketing the promotion, why do you need to carry the belt around? I don't... Like WWE makes their wrestlers carry the belt like on the red carpet and stuff because you're promoting WWE. So, if you say something stupid there, you're walking around with the belt, you're saying you're marketing the company and saying stupid shit. He's doing the exact same thing, but he doesn't need to because this is a regular TV show that he's been on even before he was a champion. He doesn't need to have the belt. It's goofy. It's very, very goofy. This is an excellent case of CTE in real time. Just look at this. Look at the amount of anger. The amount of frustration. Wrestler, shitty person, now a bad dad. Somebody call your mama because we need to talk. Wrestler, I'm sorry. That is probably entirely too nice. He is not an wrestler. He is a rocket ship just fueled with human garbage. That's how bad he is. He is terrible at his job. He is awful at his job. He is one of the worst people ever at his job, at his profession. He is one of the most dog shit pro wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots. If I could push a button and everything Tyrus would evaporate from the planet Earth, I would smash that button with both hands. And nothing would change. Nothing would change. In case you were wondering if Billy Corgan is still transphobic, no wonder 80% of the talent fled. Well, I think they fled because they left for more money, which will lead anybody to flee. But what made the fans flee was that it was promoting itself as an old school wrestling promotion that buckled to the progressives the moment they complained about anything, and it was blown up from there. From that point forward, it was a very, very, very difficult time. His dad was an abusive pedo, and his mom voluntarily gave her kids up to foster care because her racist parents wouldn't allow them in her home. He is the last person that should be talking about how a parent-child interacts. Well, you know a lot about this guy. I don't know nothing about Tyrus. Was his dad an abusive pedo? I don't know. That's a pretty bad story. It's pretty crappy when you think about it. Literally, fuck this cholesterol shitbag. Oh my God. One of the most historical and prolific belts in wrestling history is now simply a Fox News ticket to be a bigot. Billy, book this fucker's loss or it'll be yours when you see you can still keep falling, even though you're already pretty damn low. This is a tough one. All right, y'all. This is... There are 2 NWA shows in St. Louis this weekend for $29.95. You couldn't pay $29.95 to be there. These people are insane. But then again, everybody in this situation is insane. Here's one. Every time they talk about pronouns, it's the same fucking recipe of a joke. If they say they, them, my pronouns are blank blank. It's so boring, bro. Please come up with something new. You guys are always so fucking whack. At least Trump is original in his shit. Got to give Trump credit for something, huh? You're a Trump supporter. You gave Trump credit for something. You're a Trump supporter. All right. Let's wrap this thing up. I'll talk to you guys later. This has been MongoSlade talking about Tyrus. I'm still scrolling through the timeline, watching people get very upset. I mean, I don't know. It's just... There's no more you can do. All right. Peace out. Oof.
Old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you'll see a session. But you got an affection for no progression, regression. The best don't